Last night, I'm sat on my couch, I'm chilling. I open up Binge, which is basically Australia's version of Peacock. So that's where all the WWE content is nowadays, which, by the way, terrible to use. Binge is not good, and I'm pretty sure Peacock's the same for everything I've heard from Americans and you guys. But nonetheless, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm watching Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar from SummerSlam 2022, the last man standing match, the end of the rivalry, the feud end of the final chapter. And can I just say, I love that match. Genuinely speaking, I think Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in the last man standing match at SummerSlam 2022, so the Brock tractor match, for those who remember it that way, I think that match is one of the best matches, as far as WWE, just big kind of spectacle matches. It's one of the best matches in recent times. It's just such a damn fun match to watch. Like, start to finish, this had no low points. There was always something high impact, big time happening. I love that match. So I've watched that match back a couple of times now. Commentary's excellent. Crowd's really into it. Brock is just phenomenal. Reigns is great. The story was excellent on that night, and it was told really well. So I'm watching this match, and it got me thinking about the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar rivalry, which brings me into this video today. So really what I'm going to be doing is just kind of going through the rivalry a little bit. I'm not going to do a really in-depth breakdown like our boy Superkick Studios did. Go check out his Never-Ending Saga rivalry recap video if you want to see like a more in-depth version. But basically what I'm going to do today is sort of go through my honest thoughts on it, because I'm different to a lot of people, especially with the 2015 stuff. So I'm just going to go through that and just generally give you guys my thoughts on what, in objectivity, from the star power point of view, is the biggest rivalry of the last decade, in the sense that Roman Reigns has been WWE's guy really since about 2015, and it's now middle of 2023, so that's going on nearly a decade. And Brock Lesnar has been, a big time. So Brock Lesnar's been just a big star his whole wrestling career, and especially in the 2010s since he returned in 2012. So yeah, Reigns and Brock's been a big time rivalry. Without further ado, I just want to get into this. 2015, I want to give just a quick kind of rundown on this. A lot of people hated Reigns versus Brock in 2015. That they were adamant, they were determined, we need Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. That's what we need. And I stand by this. The way WWE booked that 2015 Royal Rumble was all wrong. You were better off just having Daniel Bryan not show up on TV in January, have Roman Reigns have a predictable but uninterrupted run into the Royal Rumble, predictable Royal Rumble match, but he wins. And then from there, Daniel Bryan can come out the night after on Raw, announce his big return, do that sort of thing. That would have just been better. WWE didn't do that, of course. WWE had Daniel Bryan come back, say, I'm entering the Royal Rumble match, go me. And then all the fans, especially the fans in the arena that night, were like, Daniel Bryan needs to win. Daniel Bryan must win. Bryan versus Brock. We need the guy who's just had a crippling neck injury and 8 months on the sidelines where he literally couldn't feel his arms. We need him wrestling the most, not dangerous, but the guy who'll throw him on his neck 20 times a match and risk ending his career all up. We need him facing that guy. So fans were begging for Daniel Bryan to have his life shortened by Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Instead, Roman Reigns wins, and that Royal Rumble was booked terribly. We all know that. But the match itself, what we got at WrestleMania 31, really, really enjoyable match. This was the best singles non-stipulation match these two ever had. The circumstances were quite good here. Brock Lesnar had just broken the streak a year prior. He was an unstoppable force at this stage. He just won the Royal Rumble triple threat match against Cena and Rollins, one of the great matches of modern times. And Roman Reigns, I like the presentation of this. I think it was the fact that Roman Reigns, it was like he was new. He was a fresh challenger. This was his first real shot at Brock. I like the dynamic of this, especially on the night. I thought on the night it worked pretty damn well. Obviously, as we know, Seth Rollins cashes in, heist of the century, big moment, awesome. But to me, I remember this match fondly for really Reigns' comeback. Brock dominated a large portion of this, suplex city bitch. He was just throwing Reigns around, being a beast as he is. And then Reigns had his comeback, which, that was excellent. Crowd really got into that comeback, and then the moment at the end, that was really good. So I thought their rivalry started quite well. Granted, the 2015 crowd wanted Bryan, I get it. They did the tug of war over the belt. I get it. It wasn't the greatest build to a match, 100%. But for a first match, a WrestleMania main event, these two really delivered. And coming out of that, they were kept apart for quite a while. Brock did his thing. He had a lot of questionable sort of feuds and matches after that. Be that Bray Wyatt, be that Dean Ambrose. The stuff with Undertaker was good, late 2015. And then you get through Roman Reigns. He's just pushed in the shove down your throats big dog push. That's not great. Eventually you roll into 2018 and, well, yeah, Reigns has had a Universal title match with Brock at the SummerSlam 2017 show with their Fatal 4-Way car crash demolition derby involving Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman, but really nothing one-on-one. So then they have the match at WrestleMania 34, and this was... wow, this was a huge L. Everything about this, I've gone back to watch segment by segment of this build. I've watched all the matches. I wish I hadn't. It's not great. It's really not good. The reason why, in my opinion, is it just did not feel organic at all. Like, Brock Lesnar was the mercenary version of him, so like the heel who'd show up, bounce around a bit, and punch you. And that was good. Brock's like a great talent. That was fine, but this version of Roman Reigns, it just felt so inorganic. And especially after seeing the Tribal Chief stuff we've seen for the last 3 years, going back to watch this, especially now, you watch the WrestleMania 34 main event back, it is so hard to watch, dude. It just is so hard to watch. The presentation, all of it is just not good. It's just not good. And both of these guys are so much better than this. I'm glad we got to see the 2022 stuff, which I'll allude to in a moment, but yeah, this WrestleMania 34 main event, everything that happens surrounding it, Brock Lesnar wins, even though everyone in the building is just like, get the damn title on Roman and we can just get out of here, we can end this show. Brock won, which was interesting. They do the rematch at Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia like a month later, where Reigns just got given another title match. I remember that pissed off a lot of people in the community. Brock won that, even though it was like a messy finish. Then we get SummerSlam, yay, a SummerSlam main event, just what everyone wanted, with Brock and Reigns. This one ends with Roman Reigns winning, and then they ended the show with Braun Strowman sort of standing there, and they cut the pay-per-view off the air because the crowd was booing. That was nice. So that's 2018, not good at all. And keep in mind, this is Reigns and Brock. This is supposed to be your like biggest. This is your Cena Orton. This is your Austin Rock. This is your Shawn and Brett. This is your, Hogan and like Macho Man, Hogan Andre. This is your big rivalry of the decade, and that 2018 stuff, near enough all of it was poor presentation of both wrestlers. Matches didn't go over well at all. There wasn't much investment generally from the audience, especially in the arena or online for them, so that wasn't great. And then we roll around 2021, Brock Lesnar, he makes a surprise return. First time we've seen him since WrestleMania 36 when he laid down for Drew McIntyre. Roman Reigns, by this point, is the heel Tribal Chief. Brock comes out as the alpha male of our species, babyface. This was much better. I love the presentation of this. They have the match at Crown Jewel. Good match. Reigns gets the win. Reigns retains. Entertaining. Good match. Nothing exceptional or exceedingly fantastic, but a good match. And then where I had the real issue with this was the beginning of 2022. I get it, they were supposed to have the match at day one. I understand that. But the problem being, once the day one match was canned due to Reigns getting the cough, what happened after that? Where you've got Brock Lesnar he's facing Lashley, and then he's entering the Royal Rumble match, and so Brock wins the WWE title at day one, and then he faces Lashley, and then there's a screwy thing, and then he's in the Royal Rumble, and then Brock Lesnar wins the Royal Rumble anticlimactically, and then Brock Lesnar has the match at the Elimination Chamber, and then Brock Lesnar squashes everyone in the chamber, a la Shayna Baszler 2020. Brock just squashes everyone, and we're basically told by WWE no one else matters aside from Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. This is the biggest WrestleMania match of all time, the biggest main event in the history of WrestleMania. This is the biggest match. That's all we're told. And it felt like no one else on the show mattered at that point. That's how it was being presented by WWE. I vividly remember feeling this a year and a bit ago watching it. We're told nothing else matters aside from Roman and Brock. We get to Roman and Brock. It's smack bang on par with their Crown Jewel match. Maybe a bit worse. Maybe smack bang on par with their match from, I don't know, Greatest Royal Rumble. Like, it was a fine, good sort of match. Reigns pops his shoulder out in a Kimura. He's telling Paul Heyman, oh, my shoulder's popped. They end the match on a spear about 20 seconds later. Reigns can't even lift his left arm up as he's trying to hold both titles. It left a lot to be desired. So that was an anticlimax. And then you get to SummerSlam, which, as I said at the start of this video, I love that SummerSlam match. That last man standing match. I really do. I honestly think if you're gonna show one casual or non-wrestling fan a WWE or just a wrestling match to try and get them engaged and hooked for 20-25 minutes, I'm showing them that match. You got Roman Reigns, who is presented as a big-time star, especially at pay-per-views when he comes out for a big pay-per-view main event. Reigns is presented as a big star. Brock effing Lesnar comes out literally on a tractor, and they do the tractor spot where Reigns goes flying. Like that. They do all these physical spots, tables, ringside barricades, scaffolding. They have a spot where Reigns gets tackled into that. You've got the announce table, the last man standing stipulation. Theory comes down. Heyman gets dumped through the table. Usos get literally thrown face first onto the floor. That's nuts. And can I just say one other thing? This is really kind of goofy and random, but before the match begins, when they're doing the ring announcements, Brock Lesnar, when he starts announcing himself, I'm a big country boy who's going to beat Roman Reigns' ass. When Brock's doing that, and Roman Reigns is literally standing there pointing like he's like trying to yell at the referee. He's like, what the hell, get him down. Something about that is just so funny to me. I don't know, Brock Lesnar, this jacked 285 pound country badass, yelling his introduction at Roman Reigns from the top of a tractor as Roman Reigns, this dominant Universal Champion, is like crying to the referee, get him down. Just great content. Nonetheless, this was excellent. So as a feud ender, really good. And overall, I just want to do a quick recap on this. For Reigns and Brock, as I said, this is our generation's Cena Orton. And by generation, I mean really from like mid-2010s onward. This is the post-Super PG era big-time feud. This is the top star versus the top star. These are like the two big stars of this era. And in my honest opinion, these two guys don't have great in-ring chemistry. They just don't. Roman Reigns himself, he didn't say that word for word verbatim, but what he did say in the Impulsive podcast he did around SummerSlam time 2022 is that he just doesn't enjoy working with Brock, or working with Brock isn't the funnest thing to do because of how dangerous it is. Dude's throwing you around. It's not exactly fun. And from that perspective, it makes complete sense. I mean, who wants to be thrown on their neck 20 times in a match? You know, like, fair enough. So in that regard, these two guys don't have the in-ring chemistry Austin Rock did. They don't have the chemistry Bret and Shawn did in the ring, or that sort of thing. But nonetheless, you know, they've had some entertaining matches, namely WrestleMania 31, that match, namely the Last Man Standing match. And then they were involved in the SummerSlam 2017 Fatal 4-Way car crash. So they've had some good stuff, but all in all, for the amount of hype, the amount of just, you know, build, not TV line, great storyline build, but the amount of sort of TV buzz and the amount of catchphrases and taglines WWE's given Reigns and Brock, particularly WrestleMania 38, it hasn't lived up to the billing as a rivalry. And both these guys are phenomenal. It's not to take anything away from them, but sometimes wrestlers just don't always click with one another, regardless of how big they are as stars. And sometimes they just don't always click. To me, Reigns and Brock is somewhere in the ballpark of Cena Orton. I think it's very similar. You've seen about 2 Reigns and Brock matches. You've seen all of them. Same thing with Cena and Orton. You've seen, you know, Breaking Point 09, or you've seen like 1 or 2 of those matches from 09. You've realistically seen all of them. And yeah, that's how I feel with Reigns and Brock. So really, in summary, Reigns and Brock as the biggest rivalry in WWE the last decade from the perspective of the stars involved. Definitely not the best rivalry in WWE the last decade, but as the kind of biggest from a star power point of view. We've seen some pretty poor matches, namely, in my opinion, the WrestleMania 34 main event. I didn't like the SummerSlam 2018 match. WrestleMania 38 was anticlimax. That sort of stuff. We've seen some disappointing matches. We have seen some great stuff, 31 and SummerSlam 22. I just think overall, the rivalry is, it's a flat, like, pass. It's been an okay rivalry. The 2021-22 installment was the best chapter of it by far. 2018 was a major letdown, major L. So yeah, that's my breakdown of Reigns and Brock. That's my analyses of the rivalry. What are your thoughts on this rivalry? Is it great in your opinion? Is it horrible? Is it bad? What matches did you most enjoy? What have been your thoughts on Reigns and Brock? These are the two biggest stars in WWE, really the last decade. So yeah, what are your honest thoughts? Hit me down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and drill. See ya.